All right, and we are getting some test footage right now of the Canon M50 Mark II. Very excited to have this camera, even though this is coming from someone that has never even really been into photography. So even though the Canon M50 is somewhat of an intermediate camera, for me it is like very advanced at this point. But we were testing out different things in this video. This is gonna be for my use, and maybe I'll post this. I'm not exactly sure yet. A ton of things going on today. I'm trying to launch a brand online right now. We're setting up the website, just getting our Google Analytics set up. We're trying to get our Facebook shop set up. We're trying to get the Instagram shopping set up, all this different stuff. None of that matters though. We are just in my room right now. It's kind of cloudy out. Man, I would love to post a video soon though, because it has been a minute. I'm gonna get a little close here just to test out that autofocus. I think it's looking pretty good. I know this camera has a lot of potential, and I just need to take more time to use it. All of that to say, new camera. I just got Adobe Premiere Pro, and so that is just a situation. But we are learning. Right now we are actually on shutter speed 1/50, f4.0 aperture. Looks like the ISO is set to auto. I believe I'm in normal shooting mode. And then the white balance is set to white fluorescent, I think. I'm not exactly sure on that one, but regardless, we're just testing out that, and yeah. So I'm just doing this for my own little enjoyment here. Of course, yeah. So I'm gonna create another little clip here in a moment, adjust the settings, and see what we have going on. Okay, and this is take 2 of messing around with the settings on the Canon M50 Mark II. Just got the camera a few weeks ago. I have not played around with it nearly as much as I've wanted to. There's just so much to learn, and honestly, I've just been wanting to create high quality videos for you guys, so I've just been taking the time to learn the camera, and there's been a million other things going on. Regardless, we are shooting on manual mode, 1080p, 24 frames per second. It looks like we are 1/40 with our shutter speed. I bumped the aperture up to f11 here, so I believe it might be a little bit darker. Background might be a little bit more blurry. The ISO, it looks like, is still on auto, which is kind of funny because every time I go to adjust the ISO, it gets really dark. I don't really know. I still need to play around with it. Regardless, here we are, just in my room here. Kind of a low light setting. There is a lamp here behind me. It's not too terribly bright, but it is a yellow light. And yeah, here we are. I'm excited to review this footage. Take number 3 on the Canon M50 Mark II. No idea really what I'm doing. Definitely learning. I know a little bit. I've definitely done research into shutter speed, ISO, aperture, different shooting modes. I know light, of course, plays a pretty big factor. This is take 3. We are in 1080p, 24 frames. Looks like I bumped the aperture down to 3.5, which is the lowest that the kit lens does. I got the 15 to 45, which is what most of them come with. I did figure out how to properly kind of adjust the ISO a little bit without it getting too dark. I brought down the aperture, brought the ISO up a little bit, and we're still at 1/50 on the shutter speed. So here we are. I'm just gonna move kind of in and out. Hopefully I don't look too silly here, but got my red tank top on, just went to the gym a minute ago. Was getting pretty frustrated with work earlier, just working on our website, but it is all good. So I went and lifted some weights for the gains. So But yeah, just being silly, having fun, playing with the camera. We had family in town last week. We rented a house out on Tybee. That was a lot of fun. And yeah, so just to reiterate, we're at 1/50 on the shutter speed, 3.5 aperture. ISO is at 1000. So take 3, and we'll probably do a few more of these, and then I'm gonna put the footage in the computer and we will go from there. Take number 4. The only adjustment I made between this one and the last one was bump the ISO up to 1600. I think it took away some of that redness I was experiencing there. Brought a little bit more light into the frame here. Of course, yeah, no, this is going to be fun to review. You guys, I've been so busy doing different things. I have not given the camera and the channel as much love as I've been wanting to. I want to give it so much love, but I also want to do a good job, and that's why there's just this giant learning curve, because again, new camera, new editing software. I've already mentioned that I'm working on, this website and building a little personal brand that I'm doing. And so you combine that with Thanksgiving and all this sorts of stuff, and it has just been wild. So still on 1080p at 24 frames. I was doing 1080p 60 frames the other day, and it was lovely picture quality. It was almost too good though, because of the amount of detail that it was showing on my face. And so I don't necessarily want you guys seeing in my pores and whatnot. That might be a little too much for you. But in my room, soft yellow light behind me, no overhead light. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to actually grab my small little LED light that I have and maybe play around with what that does. And so we will check that out. But we are on 1080p, 24 frames, 1/50 on the shutter speed. Aperture is still at 3.5, and I bumped the ISO up to 60. And we are shooting in manual mode on the Canon M50 Mark II. Great camera. Would definitely recommend it. So yeah, cool. Okay, this is like take 5 or 6, I think, of testing out the new Canon M50 Mark II. Brand new at shooting and photography, and so I'm learning a lot. I actually didn't change anything between this clip and the last clip. We're at 1080p, 24 frames, 1/50. Shutter speed, it looks like. Aperture is at 3.5, and the ISO is at 1600. I actually just grabbed my little LED white square light, and so the lighting is probably excellent, maybe too much. But yeah, just testing out how this all looks. I'm gonna move around a little bit, get nice and close to the camera for you. It's a great day, just working nonstop. Got fired 2 months ago, decided I didn't want to get a new job. I have a buddy just helping me out tremendously with kind of my, monthly bills that I have while I get myself going here on YouTube and launching my online store that I'm doing. And so it has just been a roller coaster ride. So kind of just wanted to see how this light looked, I guess, with these settings, just what we got going on right now. I am out here on Wilmington Island in Savannah, Georgia. I love my house here. It's a great little spot. And yeah, we're just chilling in my room, hanging out. I've been doing a bunch of stuff online right now, and doing this is honestly just fun. Good old fun stuff. So here we go. I'm going to mess around probably a little bit more with the settings, maybe do a little bit more, maybe with the light, maybe without the light. And then I'm going to be putting this footage in the computer and going from there. Cool. Okay, so taking notes again, playing with the camera, Canon M50. Changed around 2 things on this one. On this one, I turned the ISO actually up to 4000. I took away my little light that I have right here. I'm I don't even know what to think of this. I don't know if I like this light. It's very white. It's a very white light. So yeah, sorry if I blinded you there. But turn the ISO up to 4000, and then I also changed the white balance, I changed it over to tungsten light, which I think is more ideal for indoor shooting. I'm not really sure. That's why we're doing this, playing around, playing with the camera. It's a great day. I honestly really enjoy like learning to do this and everything, in addition to all the other things that I'm learning online right now. So the brand I'm actually launching is called Beach Authority, and it's gonna be kind of a coastal apparel and accessories company that carries many different things, different product categories, everything from, you know, cool Tommy Bahama styled t-shirts to beach umbrellas, towels, you know, decor for the house. If you look behind me here, I love my 5-piece Canva set that I got. So just different stuff like that. And, you know, I got a big dream, big vision just for that. And then, of course, I also, you know, I'm working on the YouTube channel here. MDM Enterprises is going to be Matt Davis Motivational. And this is going to be something potentially huge in the future. And I'm just kind of being led by God right now in everything that I'm doing. But regardless, playing with the camera today so that I can shoot high quality content for you guys in the future. Very excited about it. Again, 1080p 24 frames. I'm at 1/50 shutter speed, which I'll probably keep at that unless I bump my frame rate up to 30 frames, in which I'll probably bump the shutter speed up as well a little bit. We're at 4.0 on the aperture on this clip and 4000 ISO, and we were shooting with the tungsten light enabled. So maybe a different look, not really sure. Gonna get close to the camera, gonna go back a little bit, move around. Woo. Y'all wanna see the tree I painted the other day with my daughter? You guys like my tree? Yeah. Anyways, went and worked out earlier. That's why I got my tank top on. Sorry if I, you know, I don't know, look like a douche, but love my tank tops, love working out. So I'm gonna adjust the settings again, and we will go from there. Okay, adjusted several things on this clip, which is maybe not a good idea, but I feel like at this point I have a good enough sense of what each of the different features does on the camera to where I can kind of see what it's doing. So on this clip, I actually changed our frame rate from 24 frames up to 30. We're shooting in 1080p at 30 frames. I adjusted our looks like shutter speed to 1/60 to compensate for those extra frames. I turned our aperture up to 5.6 and then also turned the ISO up to, looks like what, 6400? Yeah, so just in my room here, hanging out, relaxing, shooting some b-ball out by the pool and a couple of guys. No, I'm just kidding. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is a great show if you've never seen it. Hopefully you have, but you know, I don't know. Got my coffee mug here, kind of wanted to play around with how that looks in the picture a little bit. It's a great day. I'm enjoying playing around doing this. Got my vape here. How does that look when I get close? That's pretty blurry, it looks like. How does it look when I get close? I don't know. Also turned my mic up from regular to plus 20 decibels. So just kind of, this is all for me, kind of to review footage. And yeah, so here we go. Canon M50 Mark II. It's quite the situation, quite the learning curve. Let me practice zooming in on my face, if that's cool. Ooh, hello. Whoa. There we go. Cool. Well, I'm probably going to do just a few more of these, pop the footage in, and check it out. Hope all of y'all are having an amazing day. I know I am. God bless all of you guys. God loves all of you. All of you guys are destined for greatness in your own little way. But you have to be taking bold, courageous action every day. My life has just been transformed, it seems like, over the last few months with, getting fired and, having my friend Jairus join me on this journey, helping me essentially, he's my business partner now and best friend. And he definitely, helps me in just so many ways. But here we are. Once again, 1/60 shutter speed, 5.6 aperture, 6400 ISO, and this doesn't look bad or anything. We're 1080p 30 frames per second as well. So I'm gonna play around just a few more times with the settings and I will leave y'all alone. Okay, so I brought the shutter speed down to 1/30. No particular reason for doing that. I'm actually pretty sure I might be doing that a little bit too low for 30 frames. But either way, we're 1/30, aperture's at f4.5, and the ISO is at 2500. So it seemed to me like on the LCD, this kind of resembled kind of what the room looks like the best, just color-wise. The lighting is pretty low. I do have one little lamp behind me here. And yeah, 1080p, 30 frames per second, 1/30, 4.5 aperture, 2500 ISO. So this is what that looks like. I'm gonna get kind of close here, see what that does. Hello, hello. You guys, I got 4 cavities filled today. Oh my gosh. Your boy's gotta eat less chocolate or something. I am not entirely sure, but yeah. Okay, another test clip brought to you by your boy, Matt Davis Motivation. We just got our new camera a few weeks ago. A lot been going on, so I haven't had a lot of time to play with it. I'm finally enjoying sitting down and playing with the features, getting different test clips for you guys. I did change a few things around, of course. I did bump our frame rate up to 60 frames per second at 1080p. In another clip, I mentioned that I was outside recording the other day on Hilton Head, and I was in 60 frames, and the image quality was outstanding, almost like too good, in that the details on my, just dropped my vape. The details on my face were like very like noticeable. You could like see my pores, every hair on my face, which could be perceived as good or bad, depending on your preferences. But regardless, 60 frames per second. Our shutter speed is at 1/40. And I'm kind of just, I have knowledge on what it should be at because they say your shutter speed should be double roughly what your frame rate is. And so, I don't know, that would mean that I'm at 120, but that was looking, it wasn't looking well. So I'm just kind of going off the LCD that I have in front of me, of course, on the camera. Aperture's at 3.5, we brought that all the way back down again. And then of course ISO is at 3200. And so I thought this right here kind of looked good. Just again, going off what I see on the display, trying to mimic the colors in my room as best that I can. But yeah, it's all good. It's a great day. Hope y'all are having a good day. Got my pineapple ice here. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Can I get that to focus on that? Pineapple ice. Hello. Hello, pineapple ice. My decibels are still turned up to plus 20. I think I actually might turn it down right now. Okay, so now we're just on regular volume. It's not amplifying my voice at all, other than, the microphone picking it up, of course. Didn't change anything else other than that. I'm just trying to see the volume, how that messes with that. And as a matter of fact, I think I might actually take it back to minus. Yeah, it's minus 10 decibels. So it's actually going to be lowering my voice now, which sometimes is necessary because I can talk pretty loud and in your face sometimes. And so, again, just testing this out, seeing how it looks. We are at 1080p, 60 frames, 1/40 shutter speed, and 3.5 aperture, 3200 ISO. Okay, in this clip, I am gonna actually just walk around a little bit. The thing about manual mode, if you don't know, or if you know, you know, is that you really kind of have to be in somewhat of a stationary position because, you know, if the lighting changes, if the background changes, anything like that, well then, you know, the settings aren't going to automatically adjust with it. So in my bathroom right now, I can obviously see this is pretty bright, pretty nice. I know as I walk out into my living room and then into my kitchen, it'll be pretty dark out there. But when I get in my kitchen, it should lighten up again. But we are on 1080p, 60 frames per second. I did bump our shutter speed up to 1/60, and we are at 3.5 aperture again, and ISO is at 100, and shooting in normal mode, I believe, under fluorescent light, or maybe it's tungsten light. Either way, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little walk out there. I'm gonna bump our mic back up to where the normal mode should be. So here we go. Into the living room. You guys can't see anything. And into the kitchen. Okay, nice. That probably looks pretty good. Obviously because there's light in here. But yeah. Ooh, very excited to look at this footage and test it out. I might actually make another clip or two in my kitchen here. I'm just sitting at my desk, at my computer. Very happy I just got an actual dual monitor here. So fun stuff. Loving life. Every day is fun, learning new things. I'm trying to set up our Facebook shop right now for Beach Authority. And that's just proving to be a situation. So I figured I would take a break from that and play around with the camera and probably play around with editing a little bit. So love all you guys. Thanks for checking out this video. I know it was kind of boring and, you know, whatever, but hopefully if anything, if you got the Canon M50, you can, you know, check out the settings that I've changed and stuff and kind of make a judgment call for yourself. So cheers. In this clip, I turned our frame rate back down to 24 frames. We're still on 1080p. Aperture is at 3.5. Frame rate is 1/60. That hasn't been moving too much. I did bump the ISO up to 2000, and I changed the white balance mode to white fluorescent light. Even though, yeah, I don't know. I don't know that much about different types of light. It's something I need to work on. All I know is that in the lens that I'm looking at on the camera, the LCD, this seems to mimic kind of the color that we got going on, just because it's kind of these bulbs above me are pretty yellow, which I like. I don't think anyone likes white fluorescent light in their house. But regardless, here we are, 2000 ISO on this one. We are at 3.5 aperture and 1/60, and this is 1080p at 24 frames per second. All right, in this clip, we are recording on 1080p, 24 frames per second. Our shutter speed is still at 1/60. Only two things I adjusted actually are the aperture and the ISO, and I'm still playing around with both of those because both of those kind of affect the lighting. I think aperture kind of affects like the lens, how much light it actually lets in, whereas ISO kind of is a digital modifier of, you know, the perceived light. That's my understanding of it. So I actually turned our aperture up so that I was letting in less light on this one, but I turned the ISO up to 6400 compared to only 2000 in the last one. So this will be kind of interesting to check out and see. So yeah, 1/60, f8, 6400 ISO on this clip. And it looks similar, but I think my face might be a little bit darker. Regardless, we're just playing around. Maybe I'll move the camera just a little bit to see kind of what that looks like right there. Regardless, let's get a little zoom. What up? Cool. Fun. But yeah. Ooh. Okay. In this clip, I am in a completely separate room in my kitchen here, kind of at my desk. I just smashed some macaroni and chicken nuggets. Was delicious. This is the first clip I'm actually recording in 4K on this camera at 24 frames. And the reason for that is because I am well aware of that crop factor that you get on the M50 Mark II in 4K. Normally the frame is, big on the screen, but when you do 4K, it kind of crops in, which is one of the downfalls of that, but is what it is. So we are in 4K. It looks like my, what do we got? 1/50 still on the shutter speed, and we're at 3.5 aperture and 1000 ISO. Kind of hard to see because I'm blind, but hello. I just wanted to test out this kind of like situation here to see what we had going on. I have a light here, different from the one in the room, and then as well my overhead light. This could obviously be adjusted for whatever, see a little bit not as bright there, but I am very excited to probably shower in a minute and then kick back and analyze this footage. So again, hope you guys are all having a great day. I am just kind of like seeing my personal preferences and like what I think is looking good on camera to make the future videos for you guys. And so yeah, cheers. I'm also gonna play around with the Canon Connect app because right now I can't like reach the camera. It's out of reach for me. I gotta get up and go behind here, but I want to learn that Canon Connect app because I'm pretty sure I can adjust and change the settings and all of that on the app. So we'll definitely be playing with that as well. Sorry if this is a boring upload. I'm not even sure I'm gonna upload this video, but regardless, cheers and have a good night.